Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. We are going to start a new series of signal plotting in MATLAB environment. And in this series, we are going to focus uh, what are the basic uh, commands and their different variations to plot the signals in MATLAB environment. And in this video tutorial, I'm explaining the basic steps that one need to follow to plot a signal in MATLAB environment. And that means when we are saying plot a signal, we must need to have its mathematical formula or mathematical equation, right? So here in this graph, I hope you can see that there is a mathematical equation given of a signal x of t. X of t is a signal whose function of time, and then the value of the signal is given, and then there is an interval, right? We have already done the signals and system series, and in that series we have learned about the basics of signals and their different graphical and mathematical representation. So I'm not going to speak about this mathematical equation. I have actually created this series independent because there are various viewers who are just interested in signals plotting and they are not keen to watch, or they are not interested in signals details, right? So for those who are interested in signals and systems complete details, I have already given their a complete series. But right now in this series we are just focusing, if you are well aware about those signals, those equations, then how you can plot those signals into MATLAB environment, right? So let's start our this tutorial. So basic step or the very first step is going to be the definition of time vector. When I say time vector, then it means I'm interested in this time vector or in this time range. You see that the signal is valid or defined for the interval from -3 to 5. So this interval or this time duration or this time vector will be defined first, and that will be your first step. Okay. And what will be the next one? Once you are finished with the time vector, then you need to use the signal's value. And what is signal value? Value means its definition. This is going to be the definition, and this is what signal's value, right? And this is what signal's time vector, right? So this definition you need to write in MATLAB environment. That is your second thing, right? And once you are done with time vector and signal value, in signals value you will have number of things to figure out, a number of things to work on. I will be explaining those things in coming tutorial, but right now I'm going to explain just the basic steps. The third step, which is going to be useful in signals plotting, is plotting the graph actually. Now you know that your signal is ready because you have an x-axis of time domain, you have a y-axis of signals value. Now this is what you need, a graph which will show the signal's behavior over here, right? So this behavior will be shown in the signals graph. So this will be third step, to plot this graph, right? And once you have done the plotting, then you need to do some more basic steps to create this graph, very imaginative or very elaborative one. The fourth step is basically manipulation of axis. Sometimes we are interested in very narrow part of the signal, though we have drawn a graph, but we are not interested in this complete part, right? I'm just interested in this duration or in this part, right? So basically a specific part of a graph means you are interested in manipulation of axis, you are interested in zooming in and zooming out of the axis, right? So that comes this fourth step. Once you have plotted, now you need to know in what area you are interested, and you want to elaborate your graph according to that interest, right? So that comes in the step 4, which is manipulation of axis. Okay, once you are done with the step 4, then you are the last step, which is basically labeling the graph. You have done complete graph, you have plotted perfectly, but still you need to label it. For example, you need to define what is time domain, what is a time domain variable. In this signal it is t, or in y it should be x of t. But sometime when you are plotting any signal or any mathematical curve or any mathematical graph, you need to know what is y-axis, what is z-axis, what is x-axis. So that means you need to define the terms inside the graph. So that things basically comes into the very last part, and that is called labeling of the graph. So that will be the last step. Though once you are done with these basic 5 steps, so your signals plot will be very elaborative and very explanative for those who want to understand it, right? But still there are some advanced steps which one need to understand. So I will be doing those tutorials as well for those advanced techniques. So in this series, you're going to see the each and everything you need to know about signals plotting in MATLAB environment, right? So that's it from this tutorial. If you have any question regarding this tutorial, please post your queries in comment section, and keep watching this series because it will help you to a lot. It will help you a lot to understand the basic signals plotting. Thank you so much for listening.